Hello, sixth graders, fourth and final time. Here is our last review video for our Unit 1 chapter test. And so, we've already reviewed algebraic expressions, exponents, order of operations, and the last thing we learned this week and that we want to put into our Unit 1 test is GCF and LCM. And you know from our discussions already in class that GCF and LCM are actually things that we've already discussed and learned when we were in younger grades, such as the fourth grade. We used GCF with a T-chart. Your teacher put up the number 20 and said, what factors make up the number 20? And you said 1 and 20, 2 and 10. You said, nothing times 3, nothing times 3. 4, 4 times 5. And then you went 5, 5 times 4, but that's the same thing as 4 times 5. And then you went on and on and on until you could see that no other two factors would make up the product known as 20. So you did that back in the fourth grade using a T-chart, and then they may have told you try the U-turn method. Now in class, I've already talked to you about finding factors and multiples and certain things you can use to help you remember what they each mean. But today's review video is just me going back, recapping their actual meanings, and then showing you how to do each one of those processes so that you can keep it here in your heart, and then use it in math class from here to eternity and beyond, as Buzz Lightyear would say. So I'm going to start with GCF, and then I'll go over to LCM. As we have remember, or hopefully you remember and you recall, we talked about GCF as being the greatest common factor. And the greatest meaning the largest number. The largest number you see between a set of numbers, it has to be two or more numbers, and you want to see the largest number they have in common. And in common means, do they look alike? What number looks alike between these numbers? And factor, of course, now, ladies and gentlemen, are the numbers you use, and I'm going to abbreviate with symbols, numbers used in a multiplication, kind of messy, multiplication problem. And what we really like to call those, or many kids like to call them, is your multiplication facts. Do you know your multiplication facts? Do you know what number times what number will give you the product? Those numbers are called your factors, the numbers you use when you multiply the numbers together. When you multiply numbers together, those things are called factors. Normally, and most often, always, they are set off by a multiplication sign. So that is what greatest common factors are. They are the largest numbers that a set of numbers has in common. What number, when you multiply those things together, which one of those factors is the largest between these numbers? And so I'm going to do an example of this, and I'm going to make them really small just so you can have them. Let's just look at something like, I don't want to make it too small because that makes it too easy. I want you to have to think about it a little bit. Let's say 6 and, I don't want to do 6. I'm going to do 12 and 24. Now they look like bigger numbers, and when we do that, you'll be like, that wasn't hard either. So I don't want to do that one. This one isn't hard. So if we look at these, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. We want to find the factors of 12, and we want to find the factors of 24. What two numbers do we put together in a multiplication problem that give me back 12? And then what numbers do we put together that will give me back 24? And then I want to look at those numbers between 12 and 24 and find the largest number that they have in common. What factor do they have in common? And this is an easy one. So, hopefully it's fairly easy. When I want to know what makes up 12, I always start with number 1, because that's the only way you're going to get back 12 is by multiplying something by 1 to get 12 first. So I'm going to go 1, and 1 times 12 equals 12. I'm going to go 2, and 2 times what? You said it. I heard you. You said 6 equals 12. Then I go to my next number. What times 3 equals 12. And hopefully you're saying 4. And then you look to see if there's any numbers left in between here. And there are no numbers left between 3 and 4. So you must have all the factors of 12 down. And I tell kids kind of look at it like a rainbow. They partner up, they partner up, they partner up. Everything's covered, 6th graders. So we must have all the factors of 12. We then come and find the factors of 24. 1, when you start with 1, what times 1 gives you 24? 24. Then you go to your next number. You see if there's anything times it. 2 times 12 gives you 24. Oopsie, that's not very, here's me wasting my time rewriting it. 2 times 12. How about 3? Well, I know 3 times 8. How about 4? Well, I know 4 times 6. And then you look here in the middle and you see, is there anything between 4 and 6? If you multiply it, will give you 24. And there is not. There is no other numbers. Again, I can rainbow them up. They partner, they partner, they partner, they partner. I must have all my factors. I then look at these two numbers, 12 and 24, and I say, hey, what is the largest number they have in common? You look down them, and I hope 6th graders, you say right there, the number it looks like that they have in common that is the largest is the number 12. So the greatest factor, greatest common factor, 12 and 24 have in common is the number 12. Now that is different for this lovely thing called least common multiple. It's different, first of all, because least means smallest. Common is still going to mean alike. But multiple, 6th graders, are the actual products you get when you solve your multiplication problems. And I've done this before for you, such as 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Miss P. How about we try this one? 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? 6th grade. 6th grade. That's who we appreciate. And so 6th graders, those are multiples. It's like your repeated addition. But as you recall, I told you it's really finding the solutions to your multiplication facts. So if I want to know what the multiples of 8 are, I could start with 0, because we always say 0 times whatever number, but that's going to give me back 0. You start with 0 every time in life. You have nothing, what do you add to it? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is 8 times 1, or I'm going to add 8. I'm then going to go 8 times 2, or I'm going to add 8 to 8, and that gives me 16. And then I'm going to go 8 times 3, and that's 24, or I add 8 to 16, and that also gives me 24. And I do that all the way down to infinity and beyond. With factors, you can see, with factors, you can see they're going to stop. With multiples, 6th graders, they will never stop. They will go on to infinity and beyond. And so when we want to find the least common multiple, we have our numbers, and it is 2. Oops, I left out that word. 2 or more, not just 1. You can't tell what the least common multiple of this number is. It's always going to be 0. So you have to have 2 or more numbers. So I'm going to use a quick and easy one, 4. Well, 0 times 4 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. And what I really did was just add 4 every time, like repeated addition, or I'm solving my multiplication facts. And now I look at this set of numbers between 8 and 4, and I say, what is the smallest multiple they have in common? And hopefully 6th graders, you see it right here. The smallest multiple they have in common is 8. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is GCF and LCM. Of course, again, important things I'm going to tell you to remember. What is a factor? It's the numbers you use when you multiply. What is a multiple? It's the solution you get when you actually do the multiplication. It's your product from your multiplication facts. So that's a quick review of GCF and LCM. It's our last one before we take our assessment on Friday, which I know you're going to be fabulous at. So until our next unit, sixth graders, I'm going to wish you joy and happiness, and you don't need luck because I know you've got this. So have a wonderful day again, and I'll see you the next time.